Oh yeah, now we're live.
Yeah,
Hold on, I'm going to tilt
but
this
it
up a
keeps
bit.
going back and forth.
Yeah, hold on, too much headroom.
Oh, I get it. Like when
So,
someone is talking, the camera is on that person.
oh, is it?
There you go.
No, for me, I'm just getting a normal screen.
It's not going back and forth to you and me?
Hold on, I'll show you. Hold on. Can you see that?
Eh.
Hold on.
Oh, no, you have to continue talking so that it doesn't flip back to my face. Hang on.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's all I'm seeing. I'm just seeing you in the big screen and me in the bottom right-hand corner.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So obviously it's just at your end.
Yeah,
Now, do you want to test this and then maybe what? Can I record it at this end as well?
you can. But I don't know
Okay.
how it works on both ends.
Yeah, I suppose. Look, let's not tempt fate and just record it from one end.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I do this.
Oh,
No, that didn't. No, that wasn't good. Now I've lost you.
you
Um,
capturing a smile. Hello.
no, shit. Oh, now you're back. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I just took a photo.
What was that?
What happened to your end?
What was that?
I just took a photo. I did something called capture. So on the
Oh,
left-hand side of my screen, I've got all these different app buttons, and so. Oh, here we go. Here's an app called Q and. Oh, I really should stop playing with it. So.
this is a lot of fun because they seem to have a lot more functions now that,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't explored.
Yes.
What did you do? What did you do, Hilton?
I don't know. No, I'm just playing around with it.
Did you
I'm a
get
tinkerer. I
something
like to
business
tinker.
on
I like
me?
to, I like to tinker. I took a photo of you, but I'm trying to figure out how to. Photos are visible to everyone who's invited to this call. So can you see the photo?
So I don't understand Australian English.
No,
Sorry.
no, that's okay. I took a photo on screen, and it's supposed to be viewable by you. Do you have a little button that says +1 or no? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
All right.
Okay, cool. So
So,
if
so
I
hello.
talk
Welcome to our show.
like
Hello.
this,
Okay, so do we start now?
does the
And
screen keep switching back and forth?
what?
If I keep talking in between you, does the screen keep switching back and forth?
That's right. I'm getting a headache. I can't.
uh,
Yeah, this is really annoying. I don't know how to stop it from switching.
I don't know.
Hello. I should
Hello.
be answering you.
Yeah.
Okay. So do we want to try it out and let's see whether I can watch the? Oh, yeah. Shall we do that and see whether that was captured?
Sure. Yes. Yes.
Did you get the link?
Please.
Did you-
I wonder if it records like that as well, when it's switching back and forth.
I think so. I think that's how, because it's recording an interview, it goes
Ah.
back and forth. It's like your talking head, my talking head. When we edit it, we'll insert with something in between.
Oh, I just found it. I just found a screen that came out that said the moderator has the ability to eject you from the call, so I better behave.
Oh, what was that?
You're the moderator, and you have the power to eject me from the call, so I better be on my best behavior.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I like it. I'm the one who has a whip. Yay!
Okay. Look, you go and make sure that's recorded. Okay, I'll just stay here, and if you drop out, we drop out. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, too close. Okay. It's like suddenly, whoa, my face is like filled up. It's filling up the screen.
Yeah.
So let's try this, or
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just try this now, and
Okay.
then we'll stop some. No, no, I tell you what, let's stop now and see whether that was recorded, and then we'll start a
Yeah.
new one for the actual interview.
Okay. You don't want to waste the. You don't want to waste your screen time. Okay. So who's interviewing who here?
Uh, so how do you think it should be done?
Why don't we just talk and we could just memorize and reminisce and stuff like that.
Okay,
And
yeah,
okay.
yeah, okay, sounds good.
Cool. Cool. Okay. Okay. And take one.
I am the director.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Rolling. Speed.
Okay, take one.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm the camera assistant. Oh, what was that? Now your buttons are doing. Are you playing Pac-Man while we're talking?
Okay,
Okay. Okay.
let's talk about how, like your question, and let's start from beginning, way beginning.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. Okay. I was born in 1974. Yeah.
Oh, this
Not
is
too early.
more than.
It's going to take a while, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I just finished a
Oh,
job. Yeah.
hang on. Sorry.
Sorry. Toilet break. What?
Sorry. Oh, thank you.
Nanti dulu, saya cakap kat XX dia tanda tu dia selesai.
Ah,
Lepas tu kita balik.
okay.
Tapi dia
Rain's out.
dia tu dia tak siap.
I am.
Rain's got such a high voice.
Tutup pintu. Sorry.
Rain's got such a high voice.
Yeah. Girls with high voice. Yeah.
Yeah. Rain's got a high voice now. Okay.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Take
Okay.
one. Take two.
Okay. 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 Yeah. Cheers. Okay. So I just finished a job. I know very well when this all happened because it happened on Mother's Day. We have Mother's Day over here. Do you have Mother's Day?
Yes, we do.
Okay, just checking.
We were ruled by the British once. I think they brought that along with them.
Yeah, but you might have a different Mother's Day in whatever time of year than I do. You know, our Mother's Day is in May. Is that roughly when yours one is?
Isn't that in Labour's Day? No, wait. My mom's birthday is on Labour's
Who's in Labour? What? You're confusing me now.
Day. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
in May.
Okay. Okay. So one Mother's Day, I just finished a job and I didn't have anything to go on to just yet. But one Mother's Day, we were all hanging out with my mother, ironically, at a restaurant celebrating Mother's Day, and I suddenly got this weird phone call from overseas. And I'm going, what the heck? Why is someone calling me on Sunday from overseas? So I take the call, and her name was Julia. And she goes, you don't have a clue who I am, but I'm calling from Malaysia. And I'm going, okay, that's nice. What are you trying to sell me? Are you like a help desk worker or just like... Okay, yeah. Anyway, so she started talking. She started explaining to me, and I was trying to pick it up as I was going along. So basically, she was saying to me, "Yeah, so we're working on a film over here called Hanyut, and I'm looking for someone who can come over and to do some coordinating with us." So I'm going, "All the way from Australia, really?" And she goes, "Yeah, I'm an expat from over there, and yeah, I'm just looking for someone who can obviously speak with the English speaking crews and be able to handle all that side of things." So I went, crikey, okay, well, you know, and when does this start and how many months? She goes, yeah, I need you tomorrow or the next day. And I'm going, wait a second, hold on, we're just here celebrating Mother's Day and now you're asking me to drop everything and go running over to Malaysia. So I'm going, hold on. So I said I'll call her back in a second. So I quickly speak to the family. I'm going, look, this is crazy. This has just come up. I've just been offered a couple of months' work in Malaysia. I think she said Kuala Lumpur, but yeah, it didn't sound like Kuala Lumpur. She must have been mistaken. She accidentally mispronounced it, you know. So anyway, so we're going over. She's asked me to go and do that, and they go, okay, sure, okay. And well, I wasn't able to go straight away. We organised a couple of things, so I rang Julia back and I said, oh look, can you give me a couple of days? I'll get over there as soon as possible. And yeah, so she gave me a couple of days. I got my like my shots done, my immunization, and got my passport and everything ready. And I literally only had a few days to race over to Malaysia and basically get dropped in the middle of the jungle in Malaysia. I literally touched down on the evening. I think it was like a Wednesday evening. Discovered that like they'd already started shooting that very day, and immediately got thrown in a van and driven straight out to Kuala Lumpur where we were shooting. And so basically, yeah, I arrived at like 3 a.m. in the morning or something like that, having no idea where I was, in the middle of nowhere. For all I know, it could have been a Scientology cult that I'd just been assigned to. And basically, yeah, and I got put in this hotel. I remember the hotel quite distinctly because I was lying there in bed, just got told I was getting picked up in only a couple of hours to get as much sleep as I can, and then it started pouring down with rain outside. And for some reason, the one hotel room they put me in happened to have this massive leak right above my head, and all it was like dripping right on my forehead all night. And I was just like, oh my God, I have no idea where I am, what I'm doing, and stuff like that. And now I'm getting water tortured by this hotel while waiting. Well, I don't even have a clue what I'm going to be waking up to in the morning, like, because it was all dark when I got there. So yeah, so I get picked up in the morning, I get driven out to this plantation, this cocoa plantation. I'm going, oh my God, if they're going to kill me, this is the best way to do it, where no one will ever find me. I've got no reception out here. I don't have any internet yet, and well, yeah, and that was my first day on Hanyut, and yeah, it was quite incredible. Yeah,
That's actually quite funny. And then what happened your first day when you got into the cocoa plantation?
One thing I do remember from the very first day, the first day was a blur, but one thing I do remember is that one of the last things I asked Julia before I came across was, okay, clearly I'm going to be going through duty-free. Do you want me to pick up anything to bring with me, duty-free from Sydney Airport? And she goes, no, nothing for me, but we've got a Polish camera crew over here. If you could find something like vodka or something for them, bring that along, and we can give that to them. And I said, sure. Anyway, so I got to Sydney Airport, and thank God, in the duty free they sold Belvedere vodka, which is quite a distinct Polish brand. So I rock up the very first day on set in the middle of this plantation jungle, walk into the base camp, like the unit base, find these Polish guys literally like with these ghostly death stares, going. Obviously, they were feeling the same way I was. We were going, whoa, where are we? What are we doing out here? These Polish guys, it was like 40-degree heat, which is, twice the average of Poland, I'm sure. And I walk up to these guys, but not even really speaking to anyone, let alone each other. And I just plonked down this Polish vodka in front of them, and I said, "G'day, guys. I'm Hilton. Welcome to the show. And here's something for you." And these guys burst into tears. They go, oh my God, and they literally threw themselves at the vodka. The vodka. And yeah, I remember that was like my first day on set.
Fun.
Yeah. That and meeting Rick Beecroft for the first time.
How was that?
Well, I'd already heard of Rick Beecroft from back in Australia, so I get over there. There was this, like, obviously I could hear the booming Canadian accent before I saw him and stuff like that. But yeah, Rick Beecroft, he was a very colourful fellow, and I thought he was hilarious, and he and I got along very well. He's a very funny fella.
So you've heard of him before? Okay, that's good. So
Yeah.
he's like did he live up to the image that you've had when you've heard of him before?
Well, as soon as I knew I was on his good side, I think we were doing okay. So he kept on throwing curly questions at me all the time, but I'm sure he kind of rolled his eyes a few times, but he got used to it after a while. We were working with what we had, basically. So yeah.
And then you met the rest of the team, Rain, Dawn. How was that?
Yeah. There was Rain. There was who was it? Azu, was it? What was her name? The little PA girl in the office, and she was who was the girl that the French guy got really pissed off about? when we let her go early.
Yeah, there was another girl. I can't remember the name, but I just remember Melina.
Yeah, Amelina, that's who it was, yeah. So Amelina, so I met Amelina. Amelina was explaining everything to me, and they showed me this call sheet, and I was looking at it going, this is in English, but this doesn't make any sense. And so I said, look, let me make a new type of call sheet. And they were just like, what? What's wrong with this one? I go, I don't understand it. And I've got to make reports out of this, and I've got paperwork to file, and I've got to make sure everyone understands what's going on, and the editors know what's been shot, and all this kind of stuff. So I literally overhauled the call sheet all in one day, just to make sure everyone got it and everyone was on the same level. And it was a call sheet that a lot of people like Rick Beecroft could understand, and the Polish guys could understand a lot better than the one that bless her little Melina was providing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was a crazy first week at least, just trying to get up to speed with everything. And like we were in the middle of this. I can't remember how far out of Kuala Lumpur we were. What was it, about 10 kilometers or something? Or
yeah, about half an hour drive.
Yeah, half an hour drive. In these rusty vans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that. How many vans did we go through in the end? Oh, a few. But yeah, they all of them work differently to the others. Oh yeah, and then we all had to get picked up by van every morning, and I wasn't really quite sure which van I was supposed to be going in, and sometimes I missed the vans completely, and I had to call someone to go and pick me up and come back and get me, because I was just standing there in the middle of the road going, where am I supposed to be? So yeah, that was initially.
Sorry,
What, did you just kill a cockroach or something?
I tried to plug in the speaker because I can't really quite.
Ow!
Sorry. How come I can't hear anything?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Can you say something?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Oh, holy moly!
No, it's not working.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so
Yeah.
when you got there, how many days were have they already started shooting? What is that?
Shall I talk like this? If you can't hear me. How many days were they shooting? They'd already shot a couple of days when I first got there, and yeah, then I knew we had a couple of months up our sleeve. So basically, yeah, initially I was just trying to get up to speed, and on the weekends I was just trying to catch up on all the paperwork and trying to get my head around the whole schedule that Rick had provided, and various different things that were happening at the same time, when actors were coming in, when actors were getting ready, because it's quite a logistical shoot when we're shooting out in the middle of nowhere. Everyone had to fly in via Kuala Lumpur and then get driven out. So yeah, it was quite a hectic shoot to organise, just with our little office. It's these kind of shoots, on a regular big budget film can the production office can be 10 to 20 people in there, everyone dealing with different things. But we were only a tiny little crew doing everything. But it was crazy. It was a lot of fun. We were in the middle of nowhere, and how often does one get to do that?
So what was your first impression of Rain?
Rain. I can't remember who was I first dealing with. I was dealing with someone else. There was another production manager I remember I was dealing with first, but then he only lasted like a week, and then he disappeared. Do you know who that was?
No, that was before I came in.
Yeah. Well, Rain was this quiet.
Oh, you're talking about Don?
It could have been Don. Yeah, tall, lanky dude, Chinese Malay. Yeah. Chinese Malay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I met that. Like, he was the main one I was dealing with to start off with, but I think he just walked away. But no, Rain was funny because he was always very serious. He was always like, he was scoping everything out, and I'm going, okay, hello, Milo.
Milo, he's talking about Milo.
Yeah, so He was always very serious all the time, and always checking everything. He was kind of always like further up, trying to figure out things coming up. And he was a lovely fellow, and he was always very serious all the time. But he always had this wicked sense of humour as well that you never knew about, and suddenly he'd just crack a joke, and you just never expect it.
Okay, and then there was Karen.
Karen, woo! Karen Koo, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. Hey. Put a tent on that circus. She was she was nuts. She was so funny. I'm going, what?
She used to call you some names.
Oh yeah, everyone calls me names.
Yeah, but you know, there was this one.
What?
I was like,
Hung or
huh?
Kid Hung or just
You. It was no, because I remember I was working and she would be calling you all these names, right? And I'm like, wow. Cool.
What I remember about Karen and I, we had a guy working with us, and he was in charge of transport. And from what I was hearing from the transport team, they were getting pretty fed up with this guy, and they were basically threatening me, just going, if you don't get rid of him, we will hurt him. And I'm just like, you serious? So I had to sit this guy down. I said, Karen, you and I need to sit this guy down. We have to say to him, look, we're not going to put you in charge of transport anymore. We're going to give you something else to do. Anyway, so Karen and I go and get this guy. We sit him down, and I start trying to explain it to him, and oh my God, I might as well have killed his mother. The look on his face, and of just, he was so aghast. He was so angry that I had taken his job away from him. And I couldn't very well explain to him, look, it's actually for your own health and your own safety that I'm actually taking you off this task and giving it to someone else. So I'm just like, Karen, join in. Come on, Karen, help me out here. And Karen's just like sitting there going, and I'm just like, help me! You know, this guy is screaming at me. He is calling me all these names under the sun for doing this to him. It was such an effrontery that I've taken him off there. And he was so, like, he just refused to talk to me. He never talked to me after that. And I'm just like, sorry?
Who was this, UN?
Yeah, whoever the guy who was claiming he was from royalty, he was in art department, and then he was put in charge of transport, and then
From royalty?
Yeah, he said he was like some royal blood of some sort.
Tommy?
No, not Tommy. He was some other. He was a young round guy.
Chinese guy?
No, I don't think he was Chinese, but yeah, like he was always quite, well, basically quite up himself the entire time. Yeah, but he was part of the art department, and then we got him somehow.
I thought for one time before I came in, UN was handling the
could have been UN
department, and then who was
which one was UN?
UN is that pudgy Chinese young.
I think that's him. Yeah, that sounds like him.
Very fair. Later on, was handling the elephants.
Quite possibly. Was he always quite up himself?
Yeah.
Yeah, must be UN. So UN, basically, yeah, UN refused to talk to me after that, which was good and bad, especially when I'm trying to deal with all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And this guy just basically shut me down. Like, little did he know that I was actually saving him from basically getting beaten up, or possibly even worse. So, yeah, because the transport department hated him that much. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now, what else?
So how did you get roped into Hanyut?
Ah, that's quite interesting. How did I get roped in? I was like a week before that. I was a friend of mine came up from Singapore, Priscilla.
Yeah.
And, we went to the beach for the weekend or the week, and And then she was back at my place because she was in between shoot, and she was back at my place. And one day we were casually hanging out on the on the laptop, checking a few things, and she received an email, and she said, "Hey, I've got this email about this film that's going to be shot here, and it's quite a big film, and I can't do it because I'm supposed to go to Japan, I think, and
as you do, yeah.
and do you want would you want to work on this film?" And I'm like, gee, I usually work on reality and other things. I've never really worked on a feature film before, but I don't know. And then she was like, "Why don't you go ahead? Why don't I'll introduce you to Julia on email." And I was like, "Well, okay, give it a try, right?" And then she emailed Julia, and then Julia said, "Okay, can she come up for an interview?" And I said, "Okay, sure." So I went for an interview the next day. I met up with
to KL or to Kuala Lumpur?
to Tanah Licin office in KL.
Oh, okay. So not like they dragged you all the way out to Kuala Lumpur for the interview. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I met up with Julia, and then during that meeting, she was like, "Oh, they've started filming for almost a week now. We have some great people. You'll meet them. There is Dawn, the production manager. There is Rain, the assistant production manager. There's Hilton, who just came up from Australia. You would love them. They will guide you, and blah 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 blah." And I said, "Okay, so how soon do you want me to go up there?" And she's like, "Okay, tomorrow." And I'm like, sounds familiar? Yeah, the difference is.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be like the next day, right? I came back and I told my mom and I started packing. And then, so the next day came and there was no news about my pickup. So I was like, okay. And I texted her. I said, "Hi, Julia, do you know when is the pickup? I don't have the details yet." And then she said, "Okay, I'll get back to you. I'll find out the next available van to go up there." I said, "Okay." So the next day, there's still no news. The third day, I called her again, and she said, "Oh, okay, well, we're coming up this tonight, and you come along." So it was supposed to. There was me, Matcha. Do you remember Matcha?
Yeah. That's sure. Yeah.
I think Julia was there. Yeah, I think Julia was there as well. So we
Yeah.
drove up, and that was when I think the first person we met was you.
Yeah. I remember I was in the hotel and probably moved my fork around yet another rice dish I was eating at the time, and then Julia goes, "Okay, here's Noah. She's going to be working with you guys." And I went, "Oh, okay, great. No one."
No, what, Noah?
No, like, it was so funny. I'm going, "Hello, what are you going to be doing?" And I think you were just getting used to it as well. You were going, yeah.
Yeah.
What I remember laughing my head off about with you was like you pull out your laptop, and your laptop, which is a full PC laptop, was smaller than an iPad mini, and I was just like, how on earth do you write anything on that when you're hunched over like this, going, like, I swear it was like the size of an A5 thing. You were looking at this tiny little screen. I'm going, how on earth can you work like that?
I still have that laptop.
Oh my God, you still use it? And
Yeah, what's interesting is I got so used to using such a small laptop that by the time I changed to this laptop, I was like, whoa, everything is so much bigger.
yes, he was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, so that was the first introduction. I think Dawn came and joined us a little later, but I didn't meet Rain that night.
Yeah.
It was just us, and then the next day, Dawn took me around and showed me around. And then by the end of the evening, he was like, "Okay, I have something to tell you." And I'm like, "Okay." And he said, "This is my last day, so I won't be working anymore tomorrow." Like.
Okay.
Okay, so who's replacing you? I don't know.
And it was crazy, wasn't it? We just like out there in the middle of nowhere, flying by the seat of our pants. It was a wonderful kind of crazy. We had to improvise nearly every day. We had to find a way nearly every day to get the job done, and it was just like I'm just surprised that everyone just kept on going. You know? We was like, I know we had Dongo by the wayside, we had Karen go by the wayside. We almost had you go by the wayside when your mum got really sick,
Yeah.
didn't she? Yeah, and stuff like that. And you and I virtually just went, we can't do this without each other. We just you can't leave us here in the middle of nowhere. We need to do this together. So
You
that
know,
was
okay,
nuts.
I
Yeah.
have to tell you something that so like last week me and Rain went to visit Kuala
Yeah, I
Lumpur.
saw pictures of him on Facebook. Yeah.
So yeah, can you imagine how much that place is, changed?
Yeah.
So we went up there and then I was thinking that I said, you know what? No one the person on camera was Nicole and we were telling Nicole, we were like, no one actually realized that whatever we were doing here,
Yeah. Yeah.
looking back, we didn't know it's like no one really realized to what extent or they have no idea what happened outside the filming set. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's really a wonder how we went along with no money, such a big
Yeah.
set of crew, and not
Yeah.
knowing what we were doing really every
Dude,
day. 'Cause every
do you remember? Do you remember when we had no money and do you remember? I think it was the Polish guys who come up to me with their hands out, going, "You give us money now," and I'm going, "I I've got nothing. I have no money to give you. I have got nothing on me to give you." And they go, "No, you need to buy this for us and buy that for us." I'm going, "No, no, we have no money to buy anything." And it was and they couldn't get their heads around it. They're going, "What? What do you mean? You've got to be able to buy us this and buy us that." And I said, "No, no, we have no money." They're going, "No, no, it's serious." I say, "Okay, the only money I've got is my own money." Like, and that there's only very little of that. If I'm going to be buying you something, I'm going to be buying this for you with my own money.
I don't think they got it. I don't, no, sometimes I wonder to what extent or did
Yeah,
till when, like, towards the end of the shoot, everyone finally realized we had no money. But I wonder
yeah, yeah.
what made them realize, like, oh, they really have no money.
Yeah. Oh, what we're not paid. Oh, you really don't have any money.
Yeah.
And who was the accountant again?
Oh, Suping. Oh my God.
Souping. And Souping was just hiding from everyone. Like, everyone was trying to find Souping. Everyone came storming into the production office trying to find Souping. I'm going, Souping isn't here. Souping is not here at all. And
That's another thing. That's another thing they didn't realize that this is a part that I was a little bit upset about because I think most of our time, not just that we had to like you said, improvise to
yeah,
manage every crisis or every problems that happen. But at the same time, we also had to manage the expectation of the vendors
yeah,
who are
exactly.
demanding for their money, and which, conveniently, the people who are
Yeah,
handling the money are having were like hiding in a nice, comfortable hotel room, while here we are facing every like okay,
yeah.
they're hiding, but that problem went to us.
And every crazy conceivable thing was happening. Things that no one could ever prepare for. And nothing that we could ever imagine was happening. Nothing
Right.
like monsoonal rain that poured down while we were doing a river shoot at night. And we had a river shoot on the river on a barge at night with how many crew on the barge? About 20 to 30 crew on this barge shooting this river shoot. And the safety guys left because they thought it was too dangerous. They didn't tell anyone else to leave. They just disappeared. The safety guys just disappeared. And then you and I was chasing them up, and we couldn't find them. We could not find these safety guys anywhere Well, it was pouring down, the river was flooding, people were getting worried, and the very guys that are supposed to be basically telling us to either get off the river or get to safety or get to land had buggered off.
That's right. And then I remember receiving calls from Sam, and Sam was like, so what are we gonna do? We don't have the guys, the
people were livid. They were scared for their lives,
and on top of it,
and deservedly so.
Yeah, and they were like, but the equipment, are we going to leave it here on the barge? And they're like 2 million ringgit worth, and we're like, well, what can we do about it? You know, leave, like the crew leave, but you just
didn't we have to leave someone on the barge in the end? We had to leave two willing souls to stay on the barge just to protect the gear while everyone else just got out of there.
Okay. I don't think anyone actually stayed behind. I think everyone went, right?
We managed. I remember we managed to get a few people off just with the hero canoes and the hero, like the little boats that we had that we were using as as part of the vehicles, as like the canoes vehicles and stuff like that. You had to use the actual on set vehicles to get everyone off the barge, and you had to paddle everyone to shore with the equipment. Yeah, it was just nuts.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one. So now we were pointing out where the camera truck went into the ditch.
Oi, oi, oi. Oh my God. Yet another thing. How on earth do you prepare for that? Drunk driver, one of our crew, drives the camera truck and turns it onto its side in the ditch of the plantation, not only taking out a bunch of cocoa plants. Cocoa plants are these people's living. They need cocoa plants to survive because it's their crop, it's their farm. This guy tips the camera truck onto their plantation, and in order for them to actually get it out, they have to bulldoze around the truck, destroying even more crops just to get the truck out. I remember you and I sitting at what was the guy's name? The head of the plantation. He was so pissed off, and he was just standing there going, "We have ruined our crops just to get your camera truck out." And it was like.
And you know what was really funny? When we had to meet that plantation manager, right? And we were trying to cover the story, the fact that the driver was drunk.
Yeah.
Right. So we were like. Oh well, yeah. So he went in there. He went in the ditch, and then the manager. Well, he was drunk, and then we're like, no.
He was like, was he?
Yeah, because he went and walked to the nearest house, and he fainted there, and we're like, shit.
My God, that was a weird. That was a night shoot as well. So we were doing this all at night and. Oh man, just crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. And okay. And then I just wanted to tell you that also when we went there, those cocoa plants are back and they're fruiting.
Hey, I'm glad to hear. Oh man. Yeah. And what was that fruit you made me try? What was that? Oh, stinky. Durian? Oh my God. Durian.
I thought you liked it. You said you liked it.
What part of my screwed up, scrunched up face, pursed up lips going, did you think that I liked that?
You did.
That was that really big stinky fruit, wasn't it?
It was the thorny, stinky fruit.
Oh, put it this way. By that stage, I was so over rice that I was eating anything but rice.
You were just trying to be polite with us.
You were giving me raw. I remember you gave me raw cocoa, and I was just like.
The cocoa was
still eating.
I like cocoa fruit.
I should explain my rice story. So basically. So there I am, stuck in the middle of nowhere with nothing but whatever basically the catering provides. Because remember, we have no money. So so we're basically eating whatever the catering provides. And so, it's basically rice with meat, rice with fish heads, rice with anything, just rice with, you might as well just said rice plus, and they could just write in whatever the day's food was after it, because it was always going to be rice plus something. And so I was having, oh my God, I was having a gutful of all this rice. And so one day, on one weekend I had off, I went to the village. I went to the village just to try and find something that didn't involve rice. And I come across this guy's little restaurant, and I go in, and I'm looking down the list. Of course, the list is all Malaysian, and I'm trying to explain to him that I just want something, anything but rice. And he's looking at me like I'm this weirdest alien on earth, trying to explain to him what I'd like, and he doesn't understand anything that I'm saying. And I just gave up. I just went, okay, the only Malaysian food words that I know, I had just told him. I just said, can I just get some nasi goreng, please? 'Cause that's all I know in Malay. So I was then stuck eating fried rice again, because that's all he could understand me saying. But then there was also that time over on, was it Pecan? Was it on the other side?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Pecan, that I was almost had another culinary breakdown and going, that's it, I cannot handle any more rice. We need to do something. And Pecan, we basically took off one night in the middle of the night and drove to the nearest big town. And I said, just give me a steak. Give me anything. Anything with like a meat and a veggies or something like that. Anything. Anyway, so we right at the nearest town. We found, didn't we? We found a steakhouse. And we go running in to this steakhouse, and they're going, sorry, we just closed. And I think you guys had to restrain me from picking up a chair and throwing it at this person's head, going, look, surely you can't just open just for a little bit longer, just for us. And the guy just flat out refused, said, no, not serving you. And then we managed to track down this little hotel in the middle of town with these people just thinking, okay, they're crazy. It's the middle of the night. Actually, I don't know what time it was at that stage. I think it was almost midnight. And like in the middle of the night, and this guy wants a steak. And I just sat there, just gorging myself on the steak. Yeah, just eating something that just wasn't rice.
Here's an update. We're 5 years too early, because now Kuala Lumpur has a cafe called Secret Recipe that actually has Western dishes such as steak, chicken,
Oh, there we go.
pasta.
Oh my God, pasta!
Pasta, even steak. They have it. So we're like 5 years too early. Now, now they have it.
Man.
And we have Western food here and there. And we're like, me and Rain were looking like fat chance. Any white people going to come here again? And now you're too late, isn't it?
Is it looking more modern nowadays?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Far out.
They have more. Everywhere me and Rain turned, we're like, oh, we could have hung out here. Oh, we could have hung out here. But you know the saddest part?
What?
Was the fact that when we were trying to recollect some memories of, our time in Kuala Lumpur near Balai Raya or whatever, me and Rain, we realized that, we really don't, we have some few great stories, but our idea of fun was like every now and then when we felt like we wanted to celebrate something on that day, our idea of fun was actually having some satay at the makcik's place.
Yeah, the satay sticks.
Exactly, right? Our happy hour was actually at that Mangan satay.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I was talking to Ray and I was like, you imagine, I'm sure the people from the other departments, right? The technical crew, they finish shoot, they go out and they have a blast or they party together and stuff like that. And look at our experience, you, me, and Hilton. Yeah, we went to have durian.
Yeah. We were busy putting the pieces together.
Right.
Do you remember that time when the technical crew all came out and they all raided that Saturday place? We had no money. They raided the Saturday place, and then the Saturday place turned around and gave us the bill at the end. And we're going, we've got no money. And everyone just left us, stuck us with the tab. And we're going, we have no money. I don't remember how we. I don't remember how we fixed that in the end.
Right, and in between that, our idea of, I don't know whether it's fun now, but our idea of fun was, oh, don't forget the laundry.
Oh my God! And then the laundry service stopped because we couldn't pay them, and so we didn't have any clothes, and
Yeah.
so we were just pulling whatever we could together, just walking around in my scungy t-shirt and my bedraggled shorts and whatever I could find that wasn't too smelly or dirty, just to get through the day. Like even just wearing board shorts because I'd run out of anything else to wear. And just trying to find somewhere to just wash all our clothes because we couldn't do it. It's not like we could stop even to wash our clothes because we didn't have time. We were still going. So.
Even then, even when we finally found our solution, right?
Yeah.
We were just too busy that we needed to find time in between to pick it up. And
Yeah, exactly.
when that happens, we completely run out of clothes. And
Yeah.
I remember for the first time in my life, up until today, Hanyut was the only film that I've been to on location wearing a sarong.
Well, instead of trousers or shorts. I remember I was just like, I was making do with whatever I could, and I'm sure some women would blanch about the stuff I would have to wear because I didn't have anything else to wear. Because it was like sometimes I had no choice because all the rest of my stuff was actually still stuck at the clothes washing place because I hadn't even had time to pick it up yet.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't do anything else. We had to get where we could. It's not like I can go around and ask any of the crew for clothes because I'm about 2 feet taller than everyone else, and so, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's why we were like thinking, so what are our ideas? How did we have fun between us in production office?
Oh, it's crazy, isn't it?
Huh.
Like, how did we? Okay. So shall we go into the practical joke? Okay, so just to explain to everyone what the production office was like. The production office was this brick building, but on all the windows was film. Was what do you call it? Sunscreen film, or what do you call it? Filter film. So the harsh sun didn't try and heat up the inside of the place. Well, basically solar film on the window. So therefore, during the daytime, it was cooler, but during the nighttime, you could not see anything outside of the production office because the windows were black. Oh, you know what I'm talking about now, don't you? So it's funny. It's funny we should be talking about this on April Fool's Day. It's because we're filming this on the 1st of April at the moment. Okay, so one night, Nua's tinkering away at her computer, and Nua's sitting right next to the window. And I could just barely see what was going on outside. I could see rain sneaking around to the side, right outside Nua's window, which is only a foot away from her head. And I could see rain right up against the window. But of course, from the inside, unless you're really looking straight at it, you don't really know what's going on. So I go to Nua, what's that outside? And in order for you to see outside, because of the film on it, you've basically got to put your nose right up against the glass, which of course where rain space is. So Nua turns around, looks right up against the glass to see what was going on. And of course, she's looking straight at Rain's eyes, looking straight back at her, and she loses it. She screams like sheer terror, not knowing who the heck that was staring back at her.
Oh my God, that was truly well, okay. This is the funny thing about Hanyut, right? I mean, not many people. Well, now I know now you know, and Rain knows, but I have always I all my life I've always like I know
you're superstitious.
I don't want to see anything that I don't want to see. Like I've always been that way. And then suddenly I was arriving, and this is going back to when I first arrived to Hanyut's location, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Walking into Hanyut's location, then I started to hear stories about, oh, be careful, the production office has got Pontiana.
What?
Pontiana.
Okay.
That's like
Is that a transmitted disease or something, or is that
that's like a Malay women vampire. Oh,
what?
yeah. So, and they were saying that, oh, yes, they had the Pontiana on the rooftop of the production office, and I'm like, no freaking way, and I'm going to be working there, right?
Is this a good or a bad thing? I don't know.
and then and then they were like, oh no, in fact the whole village, you have a lot of funny things there, including the Pontiana. And I keep hearing that from other people, and I'm like, shit, I'm in the wrong place. I when I go for shoot, I try not to go deep in the jungle, or I usually, I go, my shoot has always been comfortable, but this is like somewhere in this God-forsaken village jungle, and it's got the worst thing is that I don't really care whether they have tigers, I don't really care whether they have crocodiles, but they have Pontiana. So going back to that, so on that day itself, when you're like, what's over there in the window, and I went in there and I went really close. I already had this thing in my head, and
Yeah.
there was this black head, right, like went right behind the glass, and this black head.
Just like as close to the glass as your face is as well. So you're literally only about 5 centimeters apart.
Exactly, it's like that. And I'm like, there's this black bald head, which is like another famous Malaysian ghost stories. Like, what the hell? And I was like, of course, when you see that up close and, like you said, 5 centimeters apart, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That I was sitting here, shit, it's happening. I'm seeing it now, and I lost it. Yeah. Which also the reason why I remember that incident where you and I went to look for the spot where we're supposed to pick up Rick and Jacinta.
What spot was this?
Oh, so here's the scenario. So Rick told us that later on they're going by river, and then
Oh, yeah.
we're supposed to pick them up, right? Sometime after midnight. So as we were driving, he was pointing out, oh, it's somewhere over there. And it was daylight when he pointed that out to us, and I sort of saw like, oh, wait a minute, there's an Indian cemetery there. Shit.
Oh, okay.
So then at night, Rick was like, okay, Hilton, or you go, you meet us there. And we're like, we had no idea where it was, but it's somewhere there in the rubber plantation. It's somewhere there. So you and I went in there, and then we went. There was this is it like a forked trail or something path that we went, and we decided.
Yeah, I remember there, like in the middle of the night, in the darkest of night, no lights on or anything like that. We end up in this cemetery, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we got to that, like right at the end, and there was an Indian temple, and then it was like on a higher ground, so you wanted to get out to see if there's a river beyond that.
Yeah.
And I was sitting here again, you always see this, especially on Hollywood films, that when you suspect something, you stay in the van. But here in my head this is so typical of that horror film, of those horror films that I've watched before. A white man gets out from the van to look around, and a woman will stay in the car or in the van, and if there was any, I don't know, Saw guy or Texas Chainsaw Massacre I'll be the one screaming in the car. You'll be the one that they slash first. So I was like,
Yeah,
get in here.
Glad you sent me out first. Yeah. Take him.
No, I told you. I said in every horror film, the white guy would have to go out and find out why. But then again, you went there and you went to check it out, and then well, there was no river there, so we decided to go through the other way, and I was freaking out because of the Indian cemetery. So, and then it turned out, yeah, that was exactly where it was, where we were supposed to pick them up at, which is just next to the Indian cemetery.
Hey.
Dark night.
Man.
Really testing.
Shall we talk about the van and our trip back from Pecan?
Sorry?
Shall we talk about the van and our trip back from Pecan?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we just finished. How long were we in Pecan for? Just about 4 nights or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, about 6 days, I think.
About 6 days? Okay. 6 days and 4 nights. Okay. So we were travelling back from Pecan, going back to Kuala Lumpur, and it's about a 3-hour journey, roughly, if I remember right. As we travel basically from the east coast of Malaysia back into basically what is the dead centre of mainland Malaysia. Anyway, so we're driving along, and I notice at one point I'm driving the van, and I notice the brakes are a little bit sticky. That's a bit weird. But fortunately, we're on a freeway, so I don't usually have to use them that much. So we're on a freeway. But then we leave the freeway, and that's when I notice it. The brakes have gone. We have got no brakes whatsoever. And this van that we're driving, I'm going, oh, no, we're only about halfway home, and we've got no brakes, and fortunately it's a manual, but that doesn't help you all the way. So basically, I had to gear up and gear down the van to get it home, as there was nowhere for us to stop. We're in the middle of nowhere. There's nowhere for us to stop. But the worst part about it is I discovered the brakes had failed us just as we were approaching a right-hand turn. And I can't remember what I said to you, but I don't know if I said brace yourself or something like that. So basically, I had to make this right-hand turn and literally swing the wheel, because there was no way I could slow us down any further. I had to swing this wheel. The van lifted up on the right-hand side as we went round the corner like this. And you were screaming, probably even worse than when you saw rain outside. I was like, "Oh!" As we took the turn on 2 wheels, and as soon as we got around the turn, it flopped back onto all 4 wheels.
Husky and Hutch.
Oh my God! Anyway, we somehow I remember we finally pulled over at some kind of road stop somewhere, and we managed to find people behind us, but there was no way we could leave the van there because it was full of stuff. So I remember I put you in the van behind us and made that van follow us all the way home, just so I was the only one in this van, so I wasn't responsible for anyone else. And yeah, fortunately, we pulled into Kuala Lumpur. Thank God there was no red lights as well. There's no traffic lights that far out in Malaysia. It's all just roundabouts and straightaways. So I was just desperately, as I was coming up the roundabout, hoping to God there was no cars coming flying straight through the roundabout. And yeah, managed to pull the van up and stop the van in first gear right outside the hotel in Kuala Lumpur and stop and put on the park brake.
I was in the van with you. I went back into the van. I think there was another problem that happened when the van stopped at Petronas for refueling, right?
Oh, that might have been another night. I think we kept on having vans break down on us all the time.
No, it was the same night. So the van pulled into the petrol station, and then so I got out from the other van, the one that was following you, and suddenly you couldn't start it. You couldn't start your van. And,
right.
And so the makeup van had to leave us there. And I got back into your van, and that roundabout thing was the other thing that we had to face. We're like, oh my God, we managed to start the van, but we still didn't have the brake.
All right. But that wasn't the only road accident we witnessed while we were working on that shoot, was it?
There was another one. I think we were stranded in a palm oil plantation.
We were stranded one night, were we? Was it?
Yeah, you and I, we were looking for the Kenong entrance, and the van wouldn't start. We couldn't find the entrance, and then there was no signal for handphone, and we were just waiting there until someone passed by, and we asked that villager to make a call to someone in the production office because there's no way of getting help, right? But eventually, I think after a couple of hours we were there, the van managed to start again.
Far out.
You remember that?
Only vaguely, only little bits. But yeah, there was one night we were doing another night shoot. One night we were coming back to Kuala Lumpur from the plantation, and we picked up a couple of hitchhikers.
Oh yeah, the prostitutes.
Yeah. No, we didn't pick them up for their services. We were just being good citizens.
That's right. No, that's true.
So I couldn't understand them. They couldn't understand me. But I was just quite oblivious to it all as we were driving them all back. But you knew what was going on because you were having conversations with them.
That's right. So the guy was. So it must have been really late at night. Was it like what 3?
Oh yeah, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. We just finished a late night shoot, and
Yeah.
we were coming home
Yeah.
to rest for the day.
So we saw another car, like a small Perodua, I think, who
Yeah.
went into the ditch.
Yeah, it was in the ditch on the side of the road.
Yeah, and there were a couple of ladies, young ladies, and there was a man who was trying to, oh God, he was trying to get some things out from the car.
Yeah.
And
They were very well dressed ladies, can I point out?
yeah. Very pretty ladies, and we offered them a ride. The guy seemed to be a bit hesitant, although those two ladies were like, yeah, they wanted our help, but the guy was a little bit apprehensive about us trying to help them, and so we told them that there's no way we can offer any other help, but they just need to go to the police station and get the police to help them. So they decided, the guy eventually agreed to come on into the van with us and went all the way to the police station in Kuala Lumpur, but then again he left his handphone. Oh no, the car keys, was it? In the van.
Oh, did he? Oh,
He
man.
did. And then I received a call, and I had to go and, no, wait. Yeah, so we arrived into, you went back to your hotel, and I was going back to my side of the hotel, and I think I found it, or I can't remember whether he called me or I found it in the back seat, and I had to drive back out and meet him at the police station.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, the police had to put up with a lot with us.
Sorry?
The police had to put up with a lot with us.
Oh, yeah, so which was another one. I think if it's in a film, the dramatic curve for your trip, right?
Yeah. That was a pretty full-on experience as well.
Yeah, tell us about it.
We were shooting one night, and word had gotten to me that one of the ADs, one of the assistant directors, had been very for want of a better term, she'd been very untoward. I'd heard she'd actually hit another crew member, and it was decided that's a fireable offence, and as well it should be. You know, you're not allowed to basically hit other people. So I brought her up to the office this night at the start of the work, and I said, look, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to let you go. I've got a van waiting outside, waiting to take you back to KL. But first, you just need to go and get your stuff from your place, and the van will then drive you back to KL. So if you don't mind, just jump in the van. It'll take you back to your place to get your stuff, and then you go again. Anyway, so she was very quiet about it all. She was very very dumbfounded about it all, but she was very quiet about it. So, okay. She goes, well, I want to speak to the director about this. I said, no, this has been a decision made by us. You really do need to go. She goes, no, I would like to speak to the director. I said, okay, good, but at the same time, we are we are saying that you need to leave. You are being let go. So she went, fine then. Anyway, so she stormed out of the office. Anyway, about, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes came by, and suddenly the van driver walked in the office. I'm going, oh, okay, are you guys ready to go? And he goes, no, I'm still waiting outside for her. I'm going, but she left about half an hour, 45 minutes ago. And he goes, oh, I didn't see her. I've been sitting in the van waiting for her. And I go, well, where is she? So I grabbed a couple of security guys, and we went over to her accommodation. And it was quite clear, because we saw her shadow from inside with the lights on and stuff like that. We saw that she was home. But no matter what we were doing, knocking, asking her to come out, she refused to come out. She wouldn't even answer us. She wouldn't do anything. So that's great. Okay. But then the security guards, they were looking at me, then looking at who I was with. It was the Indian gentleman. I can't remember his name now, but the one with the mustache. Who kind of took over as transport and stuff like that.
Oh,
but
Shafiq.
yeah.
Shafiq.
Yeah, Shafiq. Okay, so and Shafiq explained to me, oh, the security guys, it's time. They've just finished their shift. That went like, I said, okay, fine. I will keep trying to coax her out, talking to her. Do you mind taking these security guys back to the production office and bring whoever's taking over from them out with you? So he leaves with them. So it's just me waiting outside the place. She's still ignoring me. She won't come out. And then suddenly another van screeches to a halt right outside. This is only about 5 minutes after Shafiq and the security guys left. And out jumps this girl's boyfriend. She'd obviously called him to say that she was at home and she'd been fired, and I was waiting outside. So this girl's boyfriend jumps out with 2 other really large guys, and he starts screaming at me. Basically called me many nasty things, and eventually, since I was just like, I said, look, mate, there's a reason why we're doing this. Eventually, that means he thought, okay, fine. So he starts laying into me. I'm going, thanks, mate. Now you're fired as well. So, and he starts trying to punch me, and I just put my head down and just roll with it. And yeah, fortunately, he didn't hurt me too badly, but I think he accidentally broke his knuckles at one point, because he started being very ginger with his knuckles at one point. So, but eventually, the police turn up, because the other villagers around see what's going. The police turn up. They see a white guy, this tall white guy, and this spindly little Malaysian guy. And they say, okay, you come with me. So they take me away, and they lock me in the back of the police car.
I didn't know that.
Like, yeah. They took me away, and they put me in the back of the police car while they sorted it out when they start talking to this guy. Anyway, finally someone came along and took my statement. I explained to him what I was doing there, what was going on, and what he was doing there, and what was going on as well. Anyway, so they eventually let me out of the police car, and I think this is when finally Shafiq got back, and he was able to hold up my end of the story and corroborate my end of the story, and so they finally let me out of the car, and yeah, they basically cleaned it up, and so that guy and his AD girlfriend, both of whom were working on the show, disappeared that night, took off with one of the vans and disappeared that night.
Yeah, and at that
I
point,
never saw them again.
yeah, I was on the other side of the river, and at the same night that the big light cracked, I think. So I had to go and take photo of that light.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like so many weird things culminated in all that to happen. For that to happen, that I was all by myself when we readily had security guards, but they weren't there, and
And I received a call from you, and you told me that you've been hit, and then the police. And then, I mean, by the time I was trying to get myself there, and by the time I called you, you said, no, everything is sorted out already.
Yeah, that was a crazy night.
Yeah, and was it, we had to take you to the doctor, I think.
Yeah, I had to go to the doctor, remember that? And the next morning, because I was suffering, I had big headaches, and, we had to make a statement at the police and all that, and, but the other weird thing I found out later on from one of the other guys is that what I didn't know is that the boyfriend had also brought along a bayonet. He had a bayonet with him in the van. a big long big long knife. Yeah, I found out later on he had a big long knife with him in the van, and fortunately, like I basically, because I refused to hit back or anything like that, I just rolled with it, took the punches, and I said, mate, don't be stupid. What you're doing is stupid. Stop hitting me. You're making things worse. And so because I never hit back at him, I just pushed him away. I mean, goodness knows, if I did try and he did manage to get the van, it could have been much worse. So. You know, I didn't even know who the other two guys were. I didn't really recognise the other two guys. I mean, I didn't know if I started laying into him whether that meant that those two guys were going to come charging in as well. And I didn't want to try and cause any more problems. And so yeah, that was a crazy night. Oh man, I remember I had such a bad neck ache and headache after that.
Yeah, and what I remember was after that, I think you kind of, yeah, you were saying that you had a very, very bad neck, and you ended up like having to go for a Chinese reflexology or something like that.
Yeah, the Chinese reflexology guy. He said the way he fixes my neck is to basically was doing all this massaging on my feet, and I'm going, yeah, my neck's up here, buddy, not down there. And he thought, no, this will solve it all. I'm going, no, it's not doing anything. Okay, but this is the only guy I could find out in Kuala Lumpur that could possibly help me.
Oh yeah! Wow. Yeah. What else can you remember?
How did it all end? We finally, after all that, managed to get everything shot.
Yeah.
It was well, I don't know. Did you guys have to do any pickups in the end? There were a couple of bits, weren't there, or something? No, you got it all again.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. This was in the middle of the World Cup as well, so everyone was having World Cup fever in Malaysia. And
oh, sorry, I'd have to insert that one. So this is the funny thing, but I think that Hanyut, I mean, thanks to you,
yeah.
I learned a little bit about watching football. Oh my God! I mean, yeah. People who knew me from before was like, me football.
Yeah. What was it? The South Africa World Cup, that one.
Sorry?
Yeah. It was the South Africa World Cup.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, because I remember the vuvuzelas kept on going off, and I was going, they're driving me bloody nuts, those bloody vuvuzela horns going off at the time. At all the matches. Yeah, but eventually, yeah, I mean, we wrapped everything up, came back to KL, had another late week's wrap up, and then I took off back home again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And I still haven't seen it. I'm still looking forward to seeing it. How many times have you seen it so far?
4 times.
4 times? How long does it go for? Is it long, or is it like?
About 2 hours.
About 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours. We have a copy of the DVD here, but you know what?
Yeah. But still looking forward to seeing it. I saw the trailer. I love the trailer. I love the music in the trailer. The music in the trailer is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm really looking forward to it.
We're hoping for it, you know, to premiere this in early May. Unfortunately, I think the court is closing in on them on May 3rd.
Oh man.
Yeah, so unless if the filming bodies or at least the Ministry of Finance can actually stop that before May 3rd, then they would at least have a chance to release it still. Mm-hmm. But as of the last conversation that Julia had with the bank, they still have not received the that stop from, or that order from the ministry.
Far out. It seems like after everything we've been through, it just seems kind of like just let it get out there. You know?
I know.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. So that's the only thing that we hope by May 1st we can actually have this released. online. So Julia has been going to Google, meeting up with some people who can figure out how to have this online on that particular day. They're targeting
Yeah.
first.
Targeting the first. Well, I really look forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Hmm.
Okay.
It's no worries, Alan. So, but how much longer were you on it after I left?
Sorry?
How much longer were you on it after I left? What were you working on after I finished on the shoot?
Um, I think after you left, there wasn't anything much. It was the person who actually ended up. Wait a minute, you and I were the last people who left.
Yeah.
Rain left us first. That.
Mm.
Yeah, as always, he left us in between.
Yeah.
But he
Yeah.
left first, I think a couple of days before, and you
Yeah.
and I and Julia were probably the last one. I
Yeah.
remember us wrapping up the mirrors and etc. with the bubble beads. Um,
Uh,
then after you left, I think I wasn't on it anymore. I was only Supin mainly, and I was just going back and forth, sending the receipts and closing our account, like our side. Yeah. So, but it was, oh, yeah. Here's another thing. When
what?
Kuala Lipis, we caught up with Param.
Param.
Do you remember Param?
Wasn't he the guy that was doing the dodgy or something?
No, he was the one who took over Chewy for the facility.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember. He was hilarious, yeah.
Oh my gosh, because you know what? Me and Rain, we've been looking for him, and Rain lost contact with him. He called us. He called me, he called Rain a while ago, and then like years ago, and then we couldn't call him back. And Rain has always thought that he's really good on set because when Chewy left, there was no one else, and Chewy was the one who trained Param. When Param took over, and with hardly any sleep, getting certain things done, at night, prepping for the next day shoot, and etc. So when we went up to Pekan, it was funny because Rain was like, we have to look for Param. I heard that he came back here. So we went back to Param's house. And, Rain was surprised I remember where Param's house was. and we went to Param's house, and there were these old ladies outside of the house, and we thought that was his mom and his sister. And Rain was like, hello, Ati, is Param here? Oh, no, Param doesn't live here anymore. Param lives in Kuala Lipis. And I was in the car, and then there was this little boy who came up, well, not little boy, a young man, who came up to me and said, Kaka, who are you looking for? And I was like, oh no, we're looking for Param. And he was like, oh, Param doesn't live here anymore. He lives in Kuala Lumpur. And I said, well, never mind. We'll leave you our business card. And if you see Param, could you pass this to him and tell him that we were from Hanyut and we're looking for him? And we drove back to Padang Tunku when Param called, and he said, he was talking to Rain. This was really, really sweet because he was talking to Rain. He was like, Rain, oh, you're here, etc., etc. Oh, can we meet? And then I was like, okay, we can meet at the satay stall, right?
Yeah.
And from the phone, he was like, is that Kak Noor? And then we went to Mangat Satay, and he got there, and he was, how do I describe it? When we interviewed him, he actually had tears in his eyes.
Oh.
And then I realized something. He brought back another side of the memory that I've forgotten. The fact that, they would have to go out there and mow the lawn and set up the tent at night, and then they didn't sleep. They probably had 1 hour sleep that he was sleeping in the van, and I would have to look for them, like where are they? Oh yeah, he's at the house in the van sleeping. I'm like, get up, Param, go to set, And then I realized something, that it was really, really, it must have been really hard for him because Padang Tengku was filled with Hanyut crew and us, and he was there the whole time until next thing you know, overnight, everyone's gone.
Wow. Yeah, it can be like that, can't it? It's like film crews. We just go in, we arrive one night, we leave the next.
Yeah.
We just disappear. Yeah.
So, then I realized, oh, okay, no wonder he was all teary-eyed, and it must have been hard for him.
Wow. Do you remember the photos I took? I did the Faces of Hanyut thing with all the portraits of people who worked on the shoot.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he was one of the people I took a shots of. I can't remember now, but
Yeah, you did, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we've gone for an hour and a half now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
So I have to go because I'm gonna have to go and pack up. I'm taking off to Queensland. So anyway, I hope you got something you can use there.
I think so.
Thank you very much. It was great going back down there again.
Yeah. It was fun.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
You have a fantastic time. Give my love to Rain and Julia.
I will.
Okay. And I hope to see it soon.
All
Okay.
right.
See you, darling. You have a good night.
You too.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.